Hey guys, it's TF Note. Welcome back to the channel. And every Friday in the month of October leading up to Halloween, I'm going to be taking a look at a previously released or new, if I can make it work, NECA 7-inch Ultimates horror-related action figure. I do these every year. So as a lot of you probably know what to expect by now, where I get these slightly older 7-inch NECA figures in the horror collection. I haven't seen a lot in my areas lately until last month, thankfully, so I decided to start getting some stuff in preparation of this month. And today, for the first Friday in October, we're looking at the NECA 7-inch Ultimates Halloween The Curse of Michael Myers action figure here. Very excited to open this one up. I don't love this movie. I mean, I still love Michael, but I believe this was Paul Rudd's one of his first movies, I'm pretty sure. I believe this is one of Donald Pleasance's last movies as well. So, can't complain too much with, if there's things I don't like about it, at least NECA will definitely get this right. And we have a poster on the front of the box for the Ultimates box there. It says, "Terror never rests in peace." You have a nice image of Michael there. You do have where it says Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers Ultimate Action Figure. Now, just double checking on both sides. This is going to look the exact same here. Basically, the front of the box there, I do kind of wish it was an actual... I don't think that's an image of the actual figure, but just giving you a look at the side there. It has the movie's title there. It also says NECA right there. Now on the top, first of all, I think I got this at a Walmart. It's also a little dusty, and the box was quite dented, unfortunately. Movie's title, ages 17 and up. It does have a warning choking hazard there. The NECA logo. On the bottom here, you have this barcode. Let's just actually zoom in before I keep talking. You get the barcode there in case you need it. And I do like that we have credits of everyone who was working on this particular product. And then you also have the Miramax logo right there. Looking on the back of the packaging, actually really nice shots of Michael with some of the accessories. I'll turn down the brightness a little bit. Different accessories. I'll zoom in here. It might be a little hard to read, but this talks about everything that comes with, which this is a lot of stuff. That is pretty sick. So we open the flap here. It's just a standing image of Michael right there. This is a pretty good look for Michael. If I, out of all the looks, I think like Halloween 5, his mask was like really bad. I wonder if they'll ever make that figure, but either way, a lot of cool stuff going on here in this box. Let's just go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. So here's the figure out of the packaging. I do think it's pretty good. It looks really good and comes with a decent amount of stuff. I don't know if this is the most necessary purchase though. I was going to get it no matter what because Michael Myers is my favorite slasher. I want to complete those other NECA figures. If you particularly like this version of this character, or you are also a completionist of these kind of figures, this is definitely for you. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories, then we'll take a closer look at the figure. Now we do get a lot of accessories, but we do also have a decent amount of stuff here that Michael really isn't supposed to be like holding or anything. These are display pieces, which is pretty nice. So we have a Strode Realty sign. We also have the He's Coming cutout. We also have these candles as well as a jack-o'-lantern. So here is the sign for Strode Realty, looking actually really nice. We have a little bit of silver right there. I'm actually digging the mossy green for the grass, a little bit of brown in there. And then we also have the bottom there, which doesn't need to be textured really, but they do have texturing in there. All the printing on this looks really good, especially the sold sign there. It's a little bright, but there's not much going on the back of this. But then you do have this cardboard cutout, because this thing's plastic. It does look quite nice. They could have easily made this a flimsy cardboard, but they did make this actual plastic. They have detailed some textures of cardboard on the back here. This isn't painted accurately probably, but I still appreciate these details of this tape holding the string from the mask on there. A little bit of some deformed sections that are supposed to be there, I believe, on the cardboard. This little clip piece here is meant for just securing itself like that. It's not a super secure fit. There's some plastic in there to kind of wedge it in there, but you could rub up on the paint, and then even then it just really isn't secure, but that is fine. The mask is still good with this nice blacked out eye. You do have some like hazy type of paint in there to kind of make it look like it's spray painted, so that's cool. I really like how the actual knife is done here with that metallic silver. He's coming is printed very nice, and it's all bent up and stuff. I do think it's a little bit heavy. Let's get the brightness back up. When it comes to what I believe is this wash right here, so that's a little heavy, but this still is really nice. Both these things are really cool. These candles here, not much to talk about here. They don't light up at all. That's fine. They do have some nice yellow, a little bit of orange painted in there, and then the outer side. So the tops here, of course, make it look like it's lit, and then we do have like this grayish, almost black, and this looks a little rusty too, type of color going on in there. So that was suggestive. I just realized what that looked like. Yeah, yikes. Anyway, we do have a jack-o'-lantern here. The inside is really nice. It's almost like the slime green looking. It's definitely more on the orange and yellowish type. But we do have this very nice detailing, looking pretty menacing. We do have a candle sculpted in there. I do wish this could light up, but that's okay. I mean, you can still see the detailing in there. Lots of great detailing on the entire inside of the jack-o'-lantern. This part does not pop out at all, though. It looks like it does, but it will not. A flat surface here, so it could sit on an area. It does have this nice dirt detailing on the orange for the pumpkin here. Really digging that. We do have the, some of these accessories I believe are for the producer cut. So we do have this bag of runes here. I do think the paint's a little sloppy, just a little bit. Especially the red, but I'm not going to fault it too much. It still looks pretty good for what it is, and all these white runes coming out there. We do have a decent amount of hands. Now, I'm not exactly sure if anything's ambidextrous here. The figure also comes packaged with wide spread open hands. The most notable stuff to talk about is they're done all in a very similar fashion, where you do have the skin tone paint, but then you also have a lot of this purplish bruising type of detailing here. Almost like he was burned, because he was burned. So that's what they're going for. I'm hearing music somewhere, so if you hear any of that, I do apologize. Something's going on. But we do also have the inside of the hand there. The fingernails do look good. I do wish they were not exactly skin tone, because they could be a little bit lighter, but that's just such a minor complaint. It really isn't a big deal. This is a much more loose grip. Some of these have slightly more tighter grips, and some of them I can't even tell if they're that tight. So this one on the right here, again with that bruising on the back of the hands, you do see it's a little bit more open here, a little bit tighter going on there. And then we have these ones, so yeah, I believe looser and a little bit tighter. So again, we just get a lot of hands, but I can't exactly tell what hands are meant for what. I'm going to show you some images of what some of these accessories, mostly the weapons, look like in different hands. Now, some of them are really easy to spot, like the larger hand is meant for holding the bundle of syringes, which you would insert that from the top down into there. But then some of the stuff that has a little bit more of a tighter grip, you just kind of want to play around with, I guess, how, what you can get away with, because some of these hands can double for the same weapons, honestly. It's when you get to, again, the most tight grip on these hands to where the smaller accessories will definitely fit there. Paint rubbing may occur, so just be careful with all of that. But at the end of the day, you could really use these hands, almost all of these hands, for different weapons going on here. I had to pause real quick to realize it was actually my TV in the living room that was making noise, so I apologize for that, but that gave me some time to get my things in order to talk about the weapons here. We have two of these kitchen knives. These here, they look almost the same. It may look a little bit wider here, for that blade, but there's some excess plastic on that. They look like the exact same to me, if I'm being quite honest, but they both look good. We do have some nice detailing in the handles here with some light and dark brown going on in the handle. We do have some silver, really nice metallic silver on both those blades, so I can't complain there. The bundle of syringes might be one of my more favorites here. I think that this was done pretty well. I do think the needles are bent a little too much. These do feel like a more fragile type of plastic, so be careful with that. But I like that the syringes, the actual needles have some metallic on there. We have this nice green substance that's really just a translucent plastic going on there. Everything tied up together, and we do have a little bit more of a clear type of plastic going on here for all of these little plunger sections there. So really digging that. Crowbar, it's been a long time since I've watched this movie, so I don't remember every single scene with every single weapon. Again, some of these are from the producer cut, but this thing here still looks nice. We do have this metallic silver going on there, and then it starts to fade actually at the top here, but it's supposed to be all the way black there. And it looks a little bit rusty with some blood, I think, going on the bottom here. And that is really nice. This is a more fragile plastic, so be careful. Don't know if they were using this from another character, you know, from another figure before. If they do, that's fine, but they make a lot of their accessories from scratch, so it's probably made from scratch. Then we have this axe, which has some nice tarnishing. I guess that's tarnishing on the axe head, but it looks a lot like dirt and rust. Then we have some variation of dark brown all the way on the handle here. This is a little bit more of a loose grip, so just be careful of that if you're trying to figure out, you know, which of these hands will fit this. Looks like I don't know what's going on here, if there's chipping or what. But again, this axe head, I'm really digging that. That's what top looks like. Something's going on with this thing. There's just a big glob or whatever right there, but that's not too bad. And then the back of the box says it has a surgical blade, but we have this, which is, again, I guess it could be, but this looks more like a thin-handled machete to me. I just don't remember. So if anyone could please comment down below what this would be from in that movie. Again, it's been like over a decade since I've seen it. I need to get back to watching it this Halloween. Yeah, I'd appreciate it. But nice blood on the blade there. Again, nice silver. And then it seems a little basic, but it still looks really good on the silver mixed with brown for the handle. Couple of last things. We have this more smushed mask here that's just supposed to stay on a surface. It's grayed out on the inside, but there is some white still in there. Lots of nice detail. Is that supposed to be messed up like this? I don't really know. I guess that's either dirt or blood. I don't really plan on using this one too often, this accessory. And then we do have some variation of black and brown going on the hair there. Then we have this head sculpt. I don't feel like I'm going to use this too often, but I still think it looks pretty good. Has a lot of nice, this green, like slime looking stuff going on here. I think this is towards the end of the movie when he's all beaten up and stuff, I guess. But the eyes are actually coming through pretty nice. Nice almost seam. That is, actually, I think the seam is actually in the back here. That's in there. And then I guess that also could be a seam, I guess. I don't know. But they do have it, they make that green look pretty glossy, so that's pretty cool. Then we do have variations, again, of black and brown going on in here. And then the figure comes packaged with the more normal mask. The dumbbell joint, when it comes to this figure, can pop out of the body sometimes. So I'm just going to show you really quick what this looks like on the body. I'm not going to move this around too much, but even if the dumbbell joint isn't in there, it's still going to look like it fits in there. Sometimes it won't pop out, but at the end of the day, these alternate heads, you really want to heat them up when you want to pop them on a dumbbell joint on a NECA figure, because they are really tight when it comes to, not for the default head that it comes with, but the heads for NECA figures, the alternate stuff, they're very tight, so be careful. Finally, looking at the actual figure here, not my favorite design of the mask. I'm still partial to the 78 version, holding out for one day, NECA making that, which is total cope, but, I could dream. Still, my personal preferences don't reflect NECA's work here, because it still looks really fantastic how they did it. Lots of nice shading, I feel like, of almost like this dirt on the white of the mask. The eyebrows there looking good. You can see how the eyes peer through. The mouth, the nose, all that looks great. Really digging that. Is there anything else I'm noticing? Not really. There's seams on the sides. There's something on the sides of the head here too. I guess those are seams. I'm not sure. They could be like some type of scarring on the mask. Don't remember exactly. Excuse me. We do have, it's the collar's covering it a little bit, but we do have the seam there. And again, just really good variation of this like slicked back hair with brown and black going in there. Now this one here, I feel like there's a lot more brown than black going on. The black just kind of breaks up the details there, so it like, you know, separates a lot of that. So it still looks really good. I don't believe this jumpsuit is used from a previous figure. Sometimes they reuse jumpsuits. Like I think Roy Burns and Halloween 2 Michael might have the same one. I could be wrong on that. Even then, sometimes I don't really mind. This seems new to me. I don't have any of my other Michaels right now out here. This definitely seems new to me. I do like that this is more of a brighter blue denim going on here, and I think they capture it pretty well with the paint. It's mostly light, you know, a light blue paint, but then we do have a little bit of black, a little bit of gray breaking things up. Black t-shirt there, a little bit of this button on the collar. The collar has some nice wrinkles going on there, you know, tucked in at some points, some wrinkles on the back. A little bit of texturing on the back of the outfit too. The pockets look really good. This little waistband section has some texturing with a little bit of black all the way around there. And then again, the stretching on the pockets, the front pockets there. This large seam line has a little bit of a wash, I feel like. I think that's a spec. I'll have to check that. Again, lots of nice good wrinkles there. And then getting around the arms, around here, there's a lot more wrinkles going on there. It's bunched up. You can see a little bit of skin peering through there, but that's fine. You're going to block that a lot of the times with his arms down. And then you do have a lot of wrinkles around here, but things are sculpted in a way to where I think it gives you a little bit of room in the articulation. We'll have to see. Large wrinkle right between those joints. A little bit of a wash going on in this forearm section with the cuffs there. The seam line all the way on the inside. I don't see it here, so I guess there's a seam line all the way here. Then, you know, wrap that around there. And then you do get these more open hands with this purple scarring all the way there. And then there's actually purple scarring on the inside of the hands. Never got to mention that some of the hands do have, I'm going to double check. I think almost all of them have, yeah, so some of them have up and down articulation. This has in and out. This has up and down. So there's just a random amount of articulation in some of these hands. But these here will have in and out articulation, and we will talk about that in a little later. So that's what the other hand looks like. This pocket right there. I guess that's a pocket or some kind of loop, whatever that is, going on. So that looks pretty good. Getting all the way down here to the seam line there, all the way down. A little bit of this, I feel like it's dark blue with the light blue, but it kind of looks like the paint is flaking off. I think this is intentional though. So yeah, I don't see any paint on my finger. So I don't know if that's a splotch, but that could be dirt. But also, yeah, that could be a splotch, definitely. I don't really know. But we do have a, they actually did this detail of the pocket to where it continues. So it will break up if you move it, which is a little distracting, but it's a good effort. I feel like there's dark blue, but also some grayish black, definitely grayish blue. A lot of these sections going on here. This inner seam all the way down to the leg there, looking really good on the inside there. These sections could be distracting, but you're not supposed to get Michael in the craziest of poses. Then you do have, I guess that's a pocket too. However, that's folded. Back of the legs look pretty good. You know, there's a large indented section for the back of the knee, but that's to get some of that articulation out, even though it's not going to be the greatest. All the way down here, again, more wrinkles around the shins. It's a lot of baggy areas around the cuff section. And then the top of the feet have these laces. It's a black shoe. Kind of has a little bit of a leather detail to it. Still looks pretty good. A lot of the nice stitching sections for the shoe also looks good. Yeah, I think I dig that. There's not really anything on the bottom of the feet except some trademark stuff, so that looks pretty good. Hopefully I didn't breeze through this section too much. I think the accessory section was longer, but you know, Michael's a guy in a jumpsuit. They captured this pretty well. There's not much going on here. I wonder if they'll ever make a dirtier, bloodier version, because you already have some of the accessories for that. It may look a little plain, but it still looks really good, and I think it looks pretty accurate. how it looked in the specific movie. Articulation on this guy is going to be rather basic. I'm not mad about that because Michael's not supposed to be doing the craziest amount of stuff like Spider-Man. But we do have that dumbbell joint in here. A lot of these figures, because of this collar and because he has this mask, it's going to be hindered, so you really can't get up that far. Not really down much either. You do get a little bit of side to side because of that dumbbell going on in there, and the rotation gets a little hindered, but it still can work out if you rotate it like that. This is a softer plastic piece. I never mentioned it's a soft plastic overlay, so there is supposed to be some articulation in here, but it's, oh my goodness, yeah, it's non-existent basically, which is fine. But you know, for Michael at least, when this arm goes out, it goes out almost all the way. Arms go all the way around there. We do have a swivel. It's pretty tight actually. Swivel at this part here. Swivel at this bicep too. And then you do have a double joint elbow. It almost gets a full bend. So again, we've mentioned swiveling here. There's these pegs that go into these sockets, but they hinge here. And then various hands either will go up and down here with these hinges. It's a little small, so I can't really show it too well. Or they can go in and out. So it's just a various amount of wrist articulation for some of this stuff. Again, I really can't move this here at all. You get almost a perfect split though. It does stretch out the soft plastic bottom half here. Back section, I mean, again, soft plastic here, but really doesn't want to bend that much. Forward section can't bend a crazy amount either. But we do have a little bit of a thigh section right here swiveling. It's not the greatest. Better than some McFarlane's though. Who said that? Not me. We do have an almost 90-degree bend at the knee. Swivel there. Could be better. We do have, there's really not much else. I feel there is going to be a swivel around here. It does have actually a decent ankle rocker for these cuffs getting in the way. And then the hinge can go up and down, and that swivel. I think I already showed that. Not the greatest. Doesn't need to be the greatest when it comes to articulation. Measuring out the figure, we're looking at around 19.5 centimeters, so that'll put this a little under 7 3/4 inches tall. Spoiler alert, standard size NECA figures are going to be a little bit taller than standard size Marvel and Black Series, so I have all Halloween figures that I own right now for size comparisons here. On the right side, we have the 2018 and Halloween Kills versions, and then we have on the left side the Halloween 2 pack, you know, that comes with Loomis and the Halloween 2 version of Michael there. So it does look like the tallest is Halloween 2 version. I think the second tallest is going to be the Curse of Michael Myers version. I mean, they're all pretty close in height with each other. They're all going to be taller than Loomis as well. Overall, is this the end-all, be-all when it comes to Michael Myers action figures? No, I personally don't think so. Is it still a really good Michael figure? And if you're a completionist of the Halloween franchise figures, would you like to get it? It's a no-brainer, really. It's a really nice figure. I don't think it's my favorite out of all of them. I do think it might be actually my least favorite, but that doesn't mean it's a bad figure still. It comes with really nice accessories. It's a little hard to figure out which weapons go in which hand, but we get a lot of weapons and a lot of hands. I like the display options with some of the stuff here, including the realty sign, the he's coming sign, as well as the candles. You know, we also have the jack-o'-lantern. We have different heads, really just one alternate head. Articulation's not great, doesn't need to be. Paint's pretty good, if not just a little bit plain. There's not a lot of detailing like some of these other figures have had, but you know, maybe in the future we'll get a little bit more of a bloodier version. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he was cleaner throughout the whole film. I don't really remember. But unfortunately, I feel like this is a little bit of a plain Michael, but it still looks really good as the Halloween 6 version, and I'm glad to have it, honestly. I'll leave a link down in the description below if you can find places to get it if you need it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think about the figure, what you think about the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there. I'll see you in the next Halloween review.